As we said, we got a great day here in Cincinnati, but the wind is a bit of a concern. We'll be keeping track of that all afternoon long. The Colts have lost 3 straight games by a 1-score margin, losing last week to the Chiefs by 4. Jim Caldwell is in his 3rd season as the head coach of Indianapolis. The Bengals won last week at Jacksonville, and their head coach Marvin Lewis, with a win today, ties Sam Wyche for most wins in Bengal history. We had the flip of the coin, won by the Colts. They have deferred, so they will kick off with Pat McAfee. And deep back will be the ex-New England Patriot, Brandon Tate. The wind will be in the face of the kicker. And here we go in Cincinnati, the Bengals and the Colts. Tate will bring it out. And brought down in the play, Cavell Connor is the one who makes the tackle. A 24-yard return. This takes us to quarterback Andy Dalton, the rookie. He has played well, and for the last 2 games, he has led late-game clutch drives, Salmon, to win the game for Cincinnati.
We're seeing rookie quarterbacks play at a tremendously high level to begin their careers in the National Football League. Andy Dalton is one of them because he played for 4 years as a starter at TCU, won a lot of games, and I think that experience has translated well into the National Football League.
In motion is Dennis Rowland, a tackle eligible on 1st and 10. Cedric Benson brought down on the play by Antoine Bethea with a gain of 4 near the 25. The Bengal tackles are solid, especially Andrew Whitworth, a Pro Bowler last season. His battle with Indianapolis' Dwight Freeney will be worth watching. And rookie wide receiver A.J. Green is Cincinnati's leading receiver, a terrific young emerging player on this team. First round pick out of Georgia. It's 2nd down and 6. Green, by the way, will be on the bottom of your screen, matched up against Lacey, who opposing quarterbacks have been targeting. And Benson, who has the 2nd most carries in the NFL, hit by the leading tackler in the NFL. That's Pat Angrer. Colt defense, that's a gain of 5 right there. Defensive ends, Freeney and Mathis, best pair on any line in the league. We just saw Angrer make the stop. 2nd-year player out of the University of Iowa. And starting today without practicing most of the week is Gerard Powers. Has a hamstring, pulled it against the Chiefs, left the game, didn't practice all week, saw a little bit of action yesterday. He'll now be in there with a 3rd down and 1 for Cincinnati. And Benson. Angrer was there, loss of a yard, and 3 and out for the Bengals on their first possession.
Yeah, it's clear they want to blitz the run. Watch number 50, Philip Wheeler, I should say, getting up into the line of scrimmage. You're right. Pat Angrer, 51 at the line of scrimmage. They're running through the gaps with all the linebackers. Cavell Connor also there, so they were blitzing the run play, expecting said Benson to get the ball.
Kevin Huber, who is a Cincinnati native, will be punting. And deep back will be Joe LaFege. Not much hang time here. And with the Bengal bounce, it's inside the 25-yard line. The wind was at the back of the punter, and it was chased down there on the play. 48-yard punt with a look at Curtis Painter. Makes his 3rd straight start for the injured Kerry Collins and Manning. He has thrown 68 consecutive passes this year without an interception.
And he's gotten off to good starts in his 2 games where he began the game as the quarterback for Kerry Collins. So by starting the game, he's gotten off to a great start. Let's see if he can do that here today.
Couple tight ends. Here's a 1st and 10. And DeJuan Carter. Nice block by Brody Eldridge. And a tackle eventually made by Manny Lawson. Close to a 10-yard gain. Just shy of a 1st down. Right tackle Ryan Deem is back. He missed the last 3 games with a high ankle sprain. And running back Joseph Adai is out with a hamstring. So rookie DeJuan Carter makes his 1st NFL start. Carter is a rookie 4th-round pick out of Syracuse.
Yeah, he's a guy that doesn't put the ball on the ground. He's been known for great ball security, rarely fumbled during his tenure at Syracuse.
On 2nd down and 2, Carter. Little block right there by the tight end Alice Clark. That's a pickup of 3. That is a 1st down for the Colts to the 35. And we Take a look at the #1 defense in the NFL, anchored by Pecco on the defensive line. Middle linebacker Ray Maualuga injured his ankle in practice Thursday, out, and Dan Scooter replaces him, his first career start in the league. And Leon Hall leads the secondary, and you think he's the most consistent back there for Cincinnati.
No, he's got his work cut out today, but certainly he's the most consistent. He's looking to get an interception before the bye week.
On 1st and 10. Whipping that baby outside. Clark lost the ball after it was held by Nelson. A fumble, and it's picked up by the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 3 drops last week against the Chiefs. He got that and fumbled it away, and it was picked up by Thomas Howard.
They want to get Dallas Clark off to a good start after the drops late in the game last week. He makes a football move. He's going to be stripped of it by Nate Clemens. Clark had the ball. Watch the football move. So there's the catch. It's completed, and the ball's out before his knee hits the ground. So the veteran Nate Clemens is able to pry it loose. One grabbed him, the other mugged him. The Bengals come up with the football with the early turnover.
Michael Johnson was the one to vacuum it in. We talked to Dallas yesterday, one of the nicest guys you'll meet, a terrific tight end, but he's been struggling to begin this year, holding onto the ball. So now an opportunity here at the 44 of Indy, 1st and 10 for Cincinnati. Dalton being chased by Anderson. Nice looking catch there made at the 31-yard line. That is the tight end, and a good one. Jermaine Gresham pick up a 13, first down.
It's going to be a great catch by Gresham. You see him down to the left of the screen. Watch him comes back and makes the nice hand catch to secure the ball. Now, he is fastly emerging as a tremendous go-to weapon within this offense. Ball hit the ground, but yet he secured the catch. No movement after making contact with the ground.
Second team defensive line out there for Indianapolis. 1st and 10 for Cincinnati. Oh, wow. He really overshot his receiver, who is Simpson, and almost picked off by Gerard Powers. Incomplete pass.
Well, there are several things that went wrong there. The ball did sail high on Andy Dalton. We talk about his accuracy. But if you're Simpson, you still have to go for that ball because Powers should have had the intercepted. So the quarterback made a bad play, and so did the wide receiver by not contesting the ball. And then Powers not able to come down with what should have been an easy interception to get the ball back for his football team.
Like the receiver's got to play like defensive end.
You have to go up and contest for the ball. You can't allow the defender to have an opportunity to catch it.
Here's a 2nd and 10. This is a nice pass outside. Caldwell will race for a gain on the play of 13 yards to the 17.
Now watch A.J. Green. Watch number 18, the wide receiver. Here's the block right there on Powers. And that's just doing a really good job. We talk about this being a young football team, and these guys are susceptible to coaching. They're receiving all the good coaching that they're getting, and so Caldwell makes the play, but not until he gets a block from the rookie wide receiver, A.J. Green.
Working on Powers across the way. Here is a 1st and 10 at the 17. Fake to Benson. Outside they go. This is Simpson, who they find Connor on, makes the grab. That's a 6-yard completion as you take a look at some of the key inactives today.
Oh, there you see, and with Joseph Adai out, we talked about the lone Carter being in the game for him. I think the big one, Ray Maualuga out. Dan Scooter replacing Ray Maualuga, who's been having a phenomenal season leading the Bengals' #1 ranked defense.
Couple tight ends in there, 2nd down and 4. The running back and the tight end were both in that vicinity, but they were going for the tight end. Gresham didn't get his head spun around. It's 3rd down and 4.
Just a lack of understanding that the ball was coming, and the sense of urgency wasn't there on that play. It was Y out, Z slant. Y is the tight end, Jermaine Gresham. He's going out. Ball's coming out quick. You typically run that route combination when they're going to be blitzing. It comes off a 3-step drop, so the ball's going to come out quickly from the quarterback.
Leonard at the side of the quarterback, Dalton. 3rd and 4. Oh, and he's got Green. What a catch! Touchdown! He beats Powers. An 11-yard, well-placed pass by rookie quarterback Andy Dalton.
And Kevin, if you are not sure that A.J. Green is going to be a star in the National Football League, all you need to do is watch this play. And this is the same way the Colts defensive backs were victimized last week by Dwayne Bowe, and the rangy and tall and long ability of A.J. Green does the same here today. Making that play over Powers. We didn't know if Powers would even play in today's game after injuring his hamstring 1 week ago.
Out of full practice all week long. Here is the extra point. 7-0 Cincy. A flag has been thrown. Dallas Clark caught it, fumbled it, and the Bengals took over at the 44.
False start. Number 77. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Retry.
That's Andrew Whitworth, who is their starting left tackle, and a good one. Dalton with a touchdown pass, his 7th, and Green, the rookie out of the University of Georgia, with his 4th touchdown reception this season. Well placed, too. Boy, those long, you got Calvin Johnson at Detroit. You mentioned Bowe, A.J. Green. Long, wide receivers jumping up there against the smaller defensive back.
Yeah, 6'4", 205 pounds. You can see the athleticism, the way he was able to change his body in midair and adjust to the ball. What a throw from Andy Dalton.
Mike Nugent, as good as the first. 7-0. Catches of 13 by Gresham, 13 by Caldwell. Then Dalton goes through the air. 11-yard leaping catch right there by A.J. Green. A.J. Green, the #1 rookie receiver in the NFL. #1 in yards in the league, and now 4 touchdowns. You look at that small drive. It began at the 44 after the Clark fumble. So a quick 7-0 lead for Cincinnati.
Well, the Cincinnati Bengals, they have 12 drives that began in plus territory. Most of the National Football League, that was the 13th, because after the fumble by Dallas Clark, they get the ball in positive territory and they turn it into a touchdown. So they're the best in the NFL at taking those opportunities and turning it into points.
Clark, of course, missed a lot of last season with torn tendon in his wrist. He had surgery, cast on there for over 2 months, he told us yesterday. But he's back and says the wrist is fine. The ensuing kickoff now by Cincinnati. Here is LaFez, who's out of Rutgers. Kept his footing. Oh, nice special teams play right there by Cedric Pierman. 5-yard return. It'll be Indy's ball when we get back. Clark with the fumble. The subsequent touchdown pass to A.J. Green. Well, that shot right there tells you how strong this wind is today.
Yeah, beautiful day, but the wind is moving and swirling down on the field. Should affect some of the passes from the quarterback.
Painter with a 1st and 10. Carter. And a pile in there. Rucker brings him down. 4-yard gain to the 11.
All right, Control, take a look at the touchdown. It's the 6'4" A.J. Green matched up against the 5'10" Gerard Powers. And take a look at this play, because it's just a real good adjustment. Man-to-man coverage. He's actually came from the slot. But look at the adjustment here. Just take a look at that. And that is just phenomenal, the way he's able to come down with the ball, working in space against a smaller secondary defender.
Bengals into the nickel. 2nd down and 6. Carter busting free. And he's out to about the 19-yard line. That's a gain of 5. On down in the secondary. Make it the 16-yard line is where he'll stand.
Cincinnati Bengals, they have that rotation. You can see them swapping out the defensive lineman. They have an 8-man rotation, Kevin, on their defensive line that allows them to really get after the quarterback. They want to force you in 3rd and long, but these defenders on this defensive line have made the difference on this year's defense.
Gronkowski is the fullback. First time we've seen that in this offense. Here's a 3rd and 1. This year they put that fullback in there. Carter zigzags. And he's got the 1st down, it looks like, as he was working out there. A pickup of 5. He's to the 21-yard line. Follow the NFL while on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season. To get the apps, go to NFL.com/mobile.
Delone Carter is a much bigger back than Joseph Adai, than Donald Brown. He gives them the ability to convert those 3rd and short situations. turn them into first downs.
2 tight ends on 1st and 10. Good block by Eldridge. Nice looking catch right there by Reggie Wayne. Working on Leon Hall. Spun down, 32. Picks up about 10 yards on the play.
And there you see the courage. Now watch Painter, blitzer, right in his face. Look at the pressure coming in his face. Stares down the barrel, still delivers a strike to Reggie Wayne. So we see the poise and composure of the young quarterback, Curtis Painter, making plays on the perimeter.
They had trouble spotting the ball. The far official picked the 32. The near official picked the 30. So they've compromised and gone to the 31 to leave it right there. So it's 2nd down and 1. He picks up 9 on that pass play. And I think they've got a problem. And here they go again. They're going to talk it over. They had 2 guys who wanted to spot it at different places, and they were 2 yards apart.
Now they need to take a look at it.
Now they change it again.
And Coach Caldwell wants them to, because this is pretty close to being a first down. Let's see right now. You know, they are able to get the right spot based on where Leon Hall made the tackle on Reggie Wayne.
Head linesman had picked the 32. Line judge had picked the 30. Looks like the line judge won this one.
Take a look. See, right now, Wayne's not down because he's on top of Leon Hall.
Absolutely.
Now, let's see. There you go. Okay, he steps out of bounds there, but where is the ball on that forward hip?
2nd down and 1. And Carter again. Slithers through. Scooter makes the stop along with a couple others. It's a gain of 4. They'll move the chains to the 34.
And when we talked to Thomas Howard, we talked about the effect of Ray Maualuga. What does he do with this defense? As you take a look at Jim Caldwell, last 4 losses, all by 8 points or less. As Dan Scooter comes in for Ray Maualuga, he's got to play downhill. He's got to press the line of scrimmage and not allow the Colts to run the ball.
Rotation continues on that defensive line. Starters out there right now for Cincy. 1st and 10 as they go outside. Leon Hall is on Reggie Wayne. It's a gain of 5. Up to the 39. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
All right, Kevin, this is how Pittsburgh normally scores.
Yeah, Pittsburgh 10-play drive, 87 yards for Sean Mendenhall, rounding and 8-yard touchdown, his 3rd of the year. Pittsburgh 7-0.
Back to Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcots.
There are some problems in Jacksonville, aren't there?
Yeah, they've been struggling the way their game ended last week. That's something that needs to be addressed.
2nd down and 5. Almost picked off right through the hands of Lawson. They're coming on a short one to the near side. Lawson, a former starter with San Francisco, comes here as a free agent.
Yeah, it was a great play by Lawson. One of the surprising things about the Bengals, they ranked #1 in total defense, but they only have 1 interception to show, and that coming from a defensive end in Michael Johnson. Lawson almost had #2, but no one in the secondary has yet to come up with an interception. And something we talked about with Leon Hall, he said as we head into the bye week, we've got to get one.
Bengals in the nickel, 3rd down and 5. He's got the first down. Painter, who played at Purdue in his 3rd season, scrambles ahead to the 49, picks up 12 on 3rd and 5. They'll move the chains for the Colts.
Now take a look at this, and they just basically have a situation where it's all-man coverage. All-man coverage. And if the defenders turn their back to the quarterback, you take off and run with it.
Painter knows his system. He's been around it. He's researched it a lot.
Well, the key is recognition real time, and I think that was how he was able to make that play.
And on 1st and 10, Carter, big time stick. Geno Atkins up the middle. Loss of 4. Back to the 47.
Geno Atkins, he is one of the more dominant players on this defensive line. They're stunning. He comes around and slices underneath, and you have an offensive line with the Indianapolis Colts. It's got a lot of moving parts, a lot of players moving around. Atkins was able to run the stunt, came in clean, and made the stuff on DeLon Carter in the backfield.
2nd down and 14 to go. Carter. No room Jerome there, no gain on the play. Carter is a rookie out of Syracuse in his fourth round pick out of the Orange program. Dunlop was there to make the stop on the line.
Or whether it's Carlos Dunlop, whether it's Damata Pecco, whether it's Geno Atkins. If you take a look at Clyde Christensen, the offense coordinator for the Colts, he knows that they have their handful with this 8-man rotation on the Cincinnati Bengals defensive line. They rank very high in third down defense, particularly when they force you to go 3rd and 10 or longer.
Donald Brown is in on 3rd and 14. Here is Brown, former Big East Player of the Year, hurdling a defender to the 45, tripped up on the play by Nelson. He works for 8, shy of a first down by 6. Howard was there as well.
And it's all about the ability to pursue. And watch as he make the catch, and watch 53, Thomas Howard comes back into the screen from behind and make that tackle and prevent Brown from reaching the first down marker. It's all about pursuit, angle, and hustle and effort for the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Pat McAfee will punt, wind in his face, and Clemens is deep back for Cincinnati inside the 10. And he'll get some English on this. Fair caught, 11-yard line by Clemens. 33-yard punt. Another try out there for Cincinnati, up on a touchdown pass by Dalton.
Well, the Andy Dalton gang has been very productive for the Cincinnati Bengals so far this season. A.J. Green, 3 touchdown receptions. Jermaine Gresham at tight end, he's tied for that league. And then Jerome Simpson, 15.8 yards per reception, and Andre Caldwell with over 100 yards receiving. So a multitude of weapons for Andy Dalton to spread the ball around. They're young players, but very productive so far early in their careers.
After the Colt punt in 11 plays, where they began at their 7, Bernard Scott in the backfield. Second team defensive line in there for the Colts, and this is Scott. He's brought down by Philip Wheeler after a gain of 2 up to the 14-yard line.
Very surprising without OTAs, without minicamp. Take a look at the numbers for Gresham, Green, and Simpson. So we talk about young players and A.J. Green being a rookie. But all of these players, it's their first year in Jay Gruden's West Coast system, so they picked it up very quickly. But give credit to the coaching staff for giving these players only what they can handle so that they can yield high productivity early in the season.
Freeney and Mathis back in, 2nd down and 8. Scott. Blocked by Smith. First hit was put on him by Antoine Bethea. It's a gain of a yard to the 15-yard line.
Give Andy Dalton a lot of credit on that last drive. They get the ball in plus territory, and then he starts picking this defense apart to Jermaine Gresham, then over to Simpson, and then the touchdown to A.J. Green. So we showed you how productive these young players can be, and then you see it in effect on that last possession, yielding a touchdown to help the Bengals go up 7-0.
5 in the secondary for the Colts. 3rd down and 7. Leonard at the side of Dalton. Blocked by Whitworth. Flag was thrown as that was caught by Andre Caldwell. A catch and run to the 31. A 16-yard pickup. He had one earlier in the game for 13.
They're finding some holes in that secondary.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 87. 10-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
Wipes out a 16-yard gain.
Well, that's why you found the hole, because they're saying that Caldwell pushed off. He was working against Terrence Johnson, and so he was able to get some separation. Watch him right here, number 23 in the slot. See, there's the push. He pushed him down, and that's why there was a huge hole in the secondary for Caldwell to get the catch and run.
This defense, and we've talked about it, it's well known, of course, if you're a Colt fan, this defense was built to play with the lead. They find themselves down now 7-0.
Yeah, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis, that defensive line, they were built, drafted, and designed to chase the quarterback because they're used to playing with Peyton Manning putting points on the board early.
3rd and 14. This is Andrew Hawkins. And Antoine Bethea was over there. Also, Gerard Powers got the first hand on him. It's a catch and run of 7 to the 15. And they got a punt.
Interesting story. Andrew Hawkins, he played in Canada for Montreal. He's the younger brother of former Cincinnati Bengals and New England Patriot defensive back are Trail Hawkins. And so he comes out, gets a tryout with the team. He was cut the first day of camp by the Rams. The Bengals bring him in, and the players love him because he's earned a spot on this team. Great special teams player running down on punts as well.
Here's the punt now by Kevin Huber with the wind at his back. Another poor punt. LaFez was back and watches it bound. And he picks it up, scooping it up, and he goes to the 34, the undrafted rookie out of Rutgers. 2-yard return, 54-yard punt. Here come the Colts on offense. Nothing yet to Garcon for Indy's offense.
Yeah, but you know it's coming. They're going to try it. That little bubble screen, you know it's in the game plan. You got to be ready for it if you're the Bengals.
Brown in the backfield on 1st and 10 for Curtis Painter. There's Dallas Clark holding on to it, and he goes out to the 42, a pickup of 8, and brought down by Nate Clemens on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 2, wind down the first quarter, and they're just going to let that baby roll on down. Only score in the first, an 11-yard touchdown pass from Dalton to A.J. Green. Rookie hitting rookie. On a fumble by Clark, which set it up 7-zip the Bengals. And tonight on CBS, former NFL Colt tight end Marcus Pollard can run the field, but can he dive the depths? A new amazing race in Thailand tonight only on CBS. Beginning the second quarter, Brown gets the pitch, 2nd down and 2. Nice pursuit and finally whacked across the way by Jabril Wilson. Gains a yard out to the 43. Peyton Manning is here, watched his Tennessee Volunteers yesterday. Only 4-time MVP in the NFL. He has x-rays, Solomon, every 4 weeks to monitor the single-level anterior fusion surgery he had early in September.
Well, clearly he's going to wait until he's fully mended 100% before he comes back. And you know, this is the first real action that Curtis Painter has had. It was only, just a week ago that Coach Caldwell told us that he was able to practice exclusively with the number 1.
Carter back in, gets the call on 3rd and 1. Pat Sims jumping on the pile, pickup of 3, and they get a first down to the 46-yard line.
There's Peyton Manning. He's done so much for this football team. I think it's hard to move on from Peyton Manning. When you talk about all the 4,000-yard seasons, Painter now starting his 3rd game to do what it took 13 years for Peyton Manning to achieve.
He was with Vern Lundquist and Gary Danielson yesterday on CBS.
Did a good job.
Yes, he did.
In the booth on CBS.
First down and 10, Painter. There's Garcon finally getting his first one. First down catch, tripped up by Nate Clemens. A slant of 11 to the Bengal 43.
Well, this is what they want to do. Quick passes from Curtis Painter. He's very accurate, and then getting the ball to his weapon of choice, Pierre Garcon. He's one of the most underrated receivers, I think, in the National Football League. He's stronger than you think and certainly fast enough to take that kind of catch and break it for the big one.
First down and 10 from the 43 of Cincinnati. Painter, Garcon again, Clemens again. Nate Clemens brings him down at the 34. That's a pickup of 9 on the heels of an 11-yard catch by Garcon.
Just another slant coming right in front of Clemens. And they believe that Leon Hall is the better corner, but Nate Clemens can still play. He's a veteran guy, been in the league a long time. They feel like if Garcon could slip one tackle, he's good enough to take it to the house for a touchdown.
Well, we've seen some of those in Tampa, 87 and 59 yards, catches and run. 2nd down and 1, Garcon again. So nice, we'll try it 3 times. Lawson makes the catch. First down to the 27. Let's go to James Brown.
Pittsburgh, productive at home, Dan.
All right, when you run the ball well, what do? You just do some play action. Looking for Mike Wallace down the middle of the field. 28-yard touchdown. Ben Roethlisberger, 9th of the year. Mike Wallace's 4th. Pittsburgh up 14-0.
8 plays, 72 yards on that drive. Kevin and Solly.
And Marino knows those Steelers pretty well. He grew up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's a Pittsburgh quarterback. Just for the Pitt Panthers, right?
Yes, Central Catholic High School, Dan Marino. Here is the running back Donald Brown, who's had a disappointing career. He's been injured a lot. About 9.5 on the game, close to the 17. You know, with the die out, here's a great opportunity now for Brown.
Yeah, they're mixing in both running backs, Delone Carter and now Donald Brown. Look at the hole right there. Excellent blocking on the interior part of the line by Joe Reitz and Jeff Saturday, getting Brown to the next level. And yeah, they want to get production out of him. He's a former first-round pick. This is his opportunity to shine.
It's 2nd down and 1. Brown, good dance outside. First down to pay dirt. What a run. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Boy hit the edge, outraced Scuda, and finds 6 for the Colts.
He's more of an outside runner, but look, they block it, stop it right there. You see him get outside, and they're able to get around the corner. Nate Clemens, the corner, he has to be able to seal the edge, number 22. Because Donald Brown is fast enough. If he breaks containment, he's going to get to the end zone.
Like we said, with the die out, here is a time now with the challenge from the rookie from Syracuse, Carter, to Brown, for him to shine. For Brown to really step up as Vinatieri ties the game at 7. Some wonderful plays. Passes of 11, 9, and 7 to Garcon. Then an 18-yard gallop by Donald Brown to tie it. Donald Brown, his senior year at UConn, led college football in rushing. Was voted the Big East Player of the Year. But since he was a first-round pick for the Colts, he's had shoulder and chest and hamstring injuries. He's been kind of forgotten, dropped to 3rd team in back of Carter. Now with, as we said, a die out, now Carter and Brown will fight for some time.
And as he showed you there, he still has wheels.
Yes, he does.
He's got the speed to get to the corner.
McAfee booms it out. Almost went into row 1. With the wind at his back, a beauty by Pat McAfee. 18-yard run by Brown, but it was set up with passes to Garcon. Brown had 9, then 18, tying the game at 7 on CBS. We're tied at 7, a touchdown pass by Dalton of Cincinnati to Green, an 18-yard touchdown run moments ago by Brown of the Colts. The ensuing kickoff, touchback to the 20, 1st and 10 for Cincinnati. Dalton, Gresham drops the ball. Coverage on the play by Gerard Powers.
Kevin, let's show you the touchdown run by Donald Brown. Now watch Nate Clemens. His job is to get outside and not allow the ball to get outside of him. But watch and see as he takes a very poor angle. Once that ball gets outside right there, see no other defender is out there to help him. He's got to be there to turn it back inside. And because he isn't, it's just a race to the pylon for a touchdown for Donald Brown.
Good bounce outside. Sims is in for Wheeler at linebacker. 2nd down and 10. Sims makes the stop right there. Nice looking twirling catch made by Simpson. Picks up 8, shy of a first down by a couple. It'll be 3rd down and about 2.
And one thing that this young Cincinnati Bengals offense has been able to do is they've been able to bounce back after giving up those touchdowns. And I think it was Bobby Williams who told us that no matter what the scoreboard says, whether they're ahead or behind, particularly late in games, Andy Dalton still seems to be calm in the huddle, and he can bring them back for yet another score.
5 defensive backs for the Colts. Leonard on 3rd down and 2. Muscles his way for the first down. Terrence Johnson among a couple there to make the stop. Sims was in there again. Gain of 6 and move the chains to the 33.
Yeah, boy, the pads are popping down in the trenches. Did you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
You
felt it.
Feel it. That's right. Brian Leonard getting in the rotations. You see Bernard Scott. It's Marvin Lewis who actually controlling the rotation of the running backs. Sid Benson on some plays. You get Bernard Scott. Here you saw Brian Leonard on the carry.
Wheeler stays in. Here's a 1st and 10. Benson with a burst up the middle. It's a pickup of 9 on the play, brought down by Daniel Muir, signed this week. Coming up, the Sprint halftime report from our CBS studios in New York. JB and Company, news, scores, and highlights. That's next on the Sprint halftime. 2nd down and 1. Freeney and Mathis are out. Cedric Benson, high pick out of Texas for the Chicago Bears. Lost his chance there, picks up 3 and carves his way to about the 46-yard line.
Cedric Benson looking for a big game here today. He had a season low, only 53 yards rushing on 24 carries 1 week ago against Jacksonville. Took some wrong reads, didn't necessarily take full advantage of the blocking up front, but against this smaller, lightweight defensive front from the Colts, they want to run the ball plenty, at least 25 or more times in this game today.
On 1st and 10, Dalton out of TCU. Donald Lee, the ex-Green Bay Packer and Dolphin, with a gain of a yard, make it 2 up to the 48-yard line and snared across the way by Angerer out of Iowa.
When we talk about the need to run the ball today, the Indianapolis Colts, they come in with a 31st ranked run defense. You take a look at the pass distribution by Andy Dalton, and all of his wide receivers are going to continue to distribute the ball, but more importantly, they want to run the ball. They want to make the Colts defense defend the run throughout the 4 quarters of this football game today.
6 different guys is pretty good. 2nd down and 8. Incomplete. 3rd down to New York and James Brown.
Buffalo getting some help from a local boy. Oh, yeah, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. He drops back here. He finds Naaman Roosevelt. Bad angle pursuit once again by the New York Giants secondary. He goes 60 yards for a touchdown. Naaman was born in Buffalo. Buffalo boy. First touchdown for the Bills. Went to high school there, college there, and now with the Bills. Back to Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcox.
Thank you, JB, for the ID, because I want to know who are these guys in Buffalo. They're coming from everywhere making big plays.
They have a lot of injuries today, too. 3rd and 8, right on the screws, but shy of the 1st down because Terrence Johnson drilled the receiver, Andre Caldwell. They got 6 when they needed 8, and they got to punt the ball.
And, boy, the Indianapolis Colts defense making plays on 3rd down. You can see the Yanks and just how upset Andy Dalton is, because he knows the Colts rank dead last in 3rd down defense. They allow teams to convert up to 49% of those 3rd down opportunities. So their ability to get off the field and force the Bengals to punt, that's a huge play for the Colts defense.
Huber to Blair White. Looks up into that bright Ohio sun with the fair catch at the 16-yard line. 28-yard punt. Curtis Painter will get back out there. Last time he was out there, led his offense to a touchdown.
Back to Paul Brown Stadium, we've seen some historic Colts connections over the years. How about Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison? They connected for 112 touchdown passes. Then Manning to Reggie Wayne, another 67 touchdown passes. And Johnny Unitas to Raymond Berry. They had 63 connects to get it into the end zone. And in just 2 games so far, Curtis Painter and Pierre Garçon, they're forming their own quarterback wide receiver connection. They produced 4 touchdown passes in their 2 games playing with one another. And looking for more here today, Kevin.
8 plays punt by Cincinnati. They send it to the Colts. Painter is 8 of 9. 1st down and 10. Here comes Carter. Slowed down by Scuda. Picks up 4 on the play. He's up to the 21-yard line.
Yeah, and so far we've seen on that last touchdown drive set up on the Curtis to Garçon connection. 3 passes to Garçon. He makes good on all of them, working on Nate Clemens and softened Clemens up for the run by Donald Brown for a touchdown. So we talked about it in the open. We talked about Painter. We talked about Garçon. They're going back to work here today in Cincinnati.
5 in the secondary for the Bengals. 2nd down and 6. A little bit low and incomplete. Looking for Wayne. Nice coverage by Leon Hall. We send you to New York and James Brown.
Devin and Solly, arguably the best offense in the league. Packers.
Man, I'll tell you what, they are playing strong right now. Quick pass fake to Jordy Nelson. He cuts back inside, goes 93 yards for a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers, that's his 16th touchdown of the year. 17-0 Green Bay.
Undefeated Green Bay, winless St. Louis. Kevin and Solly.
Boy, I like Green Bay.
You love Aaron Rodgers. He's as good as it gets right now, and he's got some talented wide receivers.
Timeout taken by Cincinnati as they build up for a 3rd and 6 coming up from Painter and the Colts. 6:39 in the second. You know, you show those trio of great Colt receivers over the years. It says something about an organization when they can follow up a great player like Marvin Harrison with another great player in Reggie Wayne.
Good talent evaluation. And if you're from New Orleans, as Reggie Wayne is, that means you know Peyton Manning. And boy, is he paid off with that relationship.
Brown in the backfield, 3rd down and 6 after the Cincinnati timeout, and they line up with 5 in their defensive secondary. Painter, Garcon, Nelson is all over him. Good looking stick, loss of a yard, back to the 20. The Colts have got a punt.
How about that? They have the safety, Reggie Nelson, isolated in man-to-man coverage over to the left against Garcon. And look at him come up and make this tackle. In recent weeks, Nelson's kind of fallen asleep, had some mental lapses, gave up a big play last week against Jacksonville. He was alive and alert on that play.
McAfee's punt with the wind at his back, and Brandon Tate lets it bounce and roll near the 25. Hang time on that of 4.79. Got the roll, 54-yard punt. We'll mark him at the 25. Here comes Dalton. 5:56 in the second. It's the most comprehensive midweek football show on television with an hour of NFL Films highlights. An analysis from TV's best team. Inside the NFL, Wednesdays on Showtime. With Solomon Wilcots, Kevin Harlan, we're tied at 7. You see the offensive line, and Bobby Williams back for a second consecutive game after the NFL suspended him for the first 4.
Yeah, but he's back, and boy, this is the veteran part of this offense. Talk about the young weapons. They've got tremendous veterans on that offensive line.
On 1st and 10, great throw. Simpson makes the grab, working on Lacey. 18-yard strike to the 44 and a first down for Cincinnati.
You talk about offensive line, look at the protection. Yeah, he's going to get hit, but enough time to laser that one in to Simpson. So it starts up front with the offensive line, but how about the poise and composure while under pressure on the throw from Andy Dalton, and great catch, and then holding on to the ball from Simpson. Just really good on all 3 levels of the offense.
No Freeney, no Mathis on this one. 1st and 10 for Dalton. Outside the tight end, Gresham out of Oklahoma. And grabbed across the way by Lacey. It's a gain of 2 to the 46.
Yeah, we talk about the more veteran part of this offense. They are the young weapons, A.J. Green, Jerome Simpson, Caldwell, Gresham, and Dalton. But this is a veteran-laden group, and they are a prideful group. They want to run the ball. They know they have to start by blocking Freeney and Mathis, but they feel like if we can continue to pound the football by running it, they expect to really be able to dominate and take control of the game in the 4th quarter.
Mathis just checks in. Here is a 2nd down and 8, and Sed Benson, the 8th leading rusher in the NFL, out to the 49. He picks up 3 on the play. You know, the tackles have been terrific too for the Cincinnati Bengals, especially that right tackle Andre Smith, who is now living up to the reputation of being a number 1.
He's beginning to develop, and I think he's grown in the absence of Bobby Williams. When Bobby was out for his 4-game suspension, you know, Smith kind of had to rely on himself because he was playing next to another rookie in Clint Bowling, and I don't think it gets any better than Andrew Whitworth at the left tackle position.
Freeney comes back in 3rd and 4 into the nickel. Dalton. Good looking catch by Green. Lacey there, and Buffet. He gets a first down to about the 40-yard line, picking up 10. They'll move the chains for the Bengals.
Yeah, and boy, it was great blocking. Look at the right tackle right there. Now that's Andre Smith. He controls Freeney so that they can get the ball out to A.J. Green. So it starts with great protection. Whenever you have a young quarterback like Andy Dalton who's playing this well, that means you got 5 big guys who are playing well up front.
2 tight ends on 1st and 10, Benson. Boy, they shot through there. Angerer. No gain on the play. Angerer playing with a lot on his mind. His wife is pregnant. She'll deliver any day. And Mary, Pat says, hold on through this weekend if you can.
He sure did. He was waiting till he gets back. They're just a few miles down the road, so it's going to be heading back after the game. But you saw Pat Angerer, who's their leading tackler, filling in for Gary Brackett, who's out for the season on IR. And you saw him blitzing the run there. They have to do more of that if they plan on controlling this Bengals rushing attack.
2nd down and 10. Nice fake. Gresham Good open field tackle made by Gerard Powers. But look at Gresham continue to fight. He picks up a couple, and he's to about the 38.
Down by contact.
You know, Angerer and Brackett have grown very close, too, over the last 2 years. And Brackett has served as a mentor.
I think that's what makes the National Football League very special. You know, guys who hold a job are not so insecure to teach and mentor younger players so that in the event they have to play, they're able to step in. And so I think Gary Brackett deserves a lot of credit, but you know, Pat Angerer taking advantage of the opportunity. What do they say in Indy? Next man up. When someone is injured, next guy come in and plays well.
Oh, everybody jumping right there. They go to Simpson nonetheless. He's working on Gerard Powers. The gain to the 27. It's good for 9 as it stands right now as John Perry, who worked Super Bowl 41 as a side judge.
Well, they growing up. Young players, even though the flag, they keep working and created a play.
Offside. Defense. Number 98. Penalties decline. Result of the catch. First and 10.
Robert Mathis.
Cincinnati.
Look at the heads-up play. You see Dalton keeps playing. Simpson keeps playing. They make the catch in front of Gerard Powers and take advantage of the opportunity. Most young quarterbacks are going to just throw the ball and not understand that, yeah, it's offsides for the defense, but you can still make a play. Just really alert by Andy Dalton. I think he's playing wise beyond his years.
Dalton, second-round pick out of TCU, a 3-year starter, Rose Bowl star, undefeated team back in 2010. Taking the place of the longtime starter, Carson Palmer, at the 2-minute warning. They're furiously getting ready in New York right now at our CBS studios for the Sprint Halftime Report. JB and Company. News, highlights, scores. Next, Sprint Halftime from New York. 8th play coming up. Dalton's been terrific on this drive. 1st and 10 from the Colt 28. Cedric Benson popping outside. Good block by Green. Flag thrown. Chased out of bounds by Cavell Connor. A run of 11 yards, but he had to be smart and patient. He's down to the 17 as it stands right now. But let's see what that flag and John Perry said.
Holding. Number 18. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
That's why the block was so good by the rookie.
Yeah, well, at least he's trying.
Yeah, right.
And,
exactly.
and I think that's here you see at the top of your screen, watching. Now right there, see the arm? See, you got to let that shoulder go. It's just enough to get caught. When that shoulder pad starts coming up, and Green hooked him and held on just a little too long there, that official's not going to miss it.
Dalton's had a couple of key third down passes on this drive.
Yeah, he had a third down completion, 3rd and 4 to Green for 10 yards, 3rd and 7 to Simpson for 9 yards. So his ability to make plays at critical moments on the drive has allowed them to sustain this drive and knock on the door for points.
1st and 20. Good looking catch by Simpson. Down to the 10. He was working on LaFage. A 28-yard burst. Powers was there as well.
Boy,
1st and goal.
Dalton is getting better and better each week. Look at this throw into the teeth of the defense. You can't cover that. I don't care how tight you are in coverage. He beats tight coverage with a laser throw to Simpson. And how about Simpson committing to running across the middle of the field? They felt that was something that had been missing with Chad Ochocinco in his later years here in Cincinnati.
1st and goal. Dalton, Green, dancing with Caldwell, and as far as the 6 on a gain of 4. Boy, this team, and they almost to a man have told us, believes so much in Dalton and what he means on the field, his leadership, and the way he prepares.
He's not afraid to cut it loose. There are a number of defenders there. You can see his red zone passing numbers. He's been money in this area of the field.
And this in the wake of Carson Palmer.
If you would have told me a rookie quarterback is going to come in here and replace Carson Palmer the way he has, I would have said no way. He's proved me wrong.
A lot of people wrong. 2nd and goal at the 6. This is Cedric Benson driving, bulldozing down to the 2. On a gain of 4, ball was loose. Do they rule him down? Yes, they do at the 2-yard line.
And
he has not fumbled all season long.
After being held to 53 yards rushing 1 week ago, Benson comes in aiming to get another 100-yard rushing game. He knows that the Colts defense has allowed 3 100-yard rushers this season. tied for most in the NFL. He aims to put his number on that list.
Buffet made the tackle. I say he has not fumbled because last year he fumbled 7 times, which was the second most of any running back in the NFL.
And they felt it was one of the reasons why the offense wasn't nearly as good. It's one of the reasons why the running game wasn't nearly as good. But they re-signed him. Remember, he was an unrestricted free agent this offseason. And the Bengals brought him back despite those fumbles, despite having an off year, because they believed that he was the guy that could fuel this offense and help carry the load for a rookie quarterback in Andy Dalton. And they didn't know what they would get. But Jay Gruden brings in this West Coast system. And one thing you can say about Jay Gruden, he's one of those West Coast offensive coordinators that want to run the football. As you take a look at the numbers, yeah, it's only a 22nd ranked offense. They're very young, but they're going to continue to get better.
After the timeout, 3rd and goal at the 2. Benson, Whitworth with the block. Boy, they stacked him up well. LaFege was there. Sims was there. Mathis there. No gain on the play.
And they were blitzing the run. And they're going to have to come up with something to check out of that run when they see the blitz is coming on Cedric Benson.
And a timeout. After the Bengals run their final timeout, they have got a 4th and goal, and they've decided to go for 3. Well, Simpson was terrific on that drive. 20 catches of 9, 18, and 28 yards to set up this try here by Mike Nugent.
And I think you take the points here with only 3 seconds to go in the first half.
Just a 20-yarder, and there is a breeze there, but it's almost like an extra point. Tack on 3 more as the Bengals will take a 3-point lead to halftime. Touchdown pass to A.J. Green. 18-yard touchdown run by Brown of the Colts. The field goal right there puts the Bengals on top 10-7 at halftime. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Three and 2 Cincinnati over winless Indianapolis. 10-7 here at halftime, and some of your thoughts.
Well, 2 young quarterbacks in Curtis Painter and Andy Dalton who have played, I think, very well, done a good job of protecting the football. I think surprisingly, the Indianapolis Colts have come out and run the ball a lot better. Donald Brown getting it into the end zone. Curtis Painter mixing in some nice throws. He's very accurate with the football, but you have to love what you're seeing from the Bengals, who have the lead at halftime.
Right now, let's take a look at the NFL Mobile Recap presented by Verizon.
Yeah, when you talk about what do you love Andy Dalton and A.J. Green connecting on a nice throw into the end zone against Gerard Power. So that early combination of quarterback wide receiver yielding high dividends for the Cincinnati Bengals.
And through 30 minutes of football, there you can see some of the numbers. We've only had a couple penalties in the first half, all on Cincinnati, and we see the 0 sacks for both the Colts and Bengals through the first half. Well, remember, the Colts won the toss to begin the game. They deferred, so they're going to get it here in the second half to start things as Mike Nugent has the ball teed up at the 35. Nugent, you may recall, had the knee injury midway through November last year. There is LaFege, and he is back for the Indianapolis Colts. The wind has stayed about the same, between 15 and 25, gusting throughout the afternoon, and our second half is underway. And that'll be a touchback as LaFege will leave it in the end zone. So, 1st and 10 for Curtis Painter. Down by 3.
And there you can see very few incompletions by both of the young quarterbacks, and Andy Dalton producing a higher yield in terms of his yards, getting the ball into the end zone. We said that both have protected it, not turned it over. About Dalton engineering a scoring drive just before the half. That's where he's been very good, particularly as we get into the 4th quarter, and that's where Painter has not produced. Normally he puts up huge numbers early in ball games, but he has to do a better job of yielding production in the second half of today's game.
Jawan Carter begins this series in the backfield. 1st down and 10 for Curtis Painter. Carter walking outside. Somebody lost their hat, and when they lost it, they go down immediately. Manny Lawson was hit hard. Make it to Leon Hall was hit hard on the play. He had the first hit. It's a gain of 5. And he is out to about the 25-yard line.
Well, he's a tough kid. And, you know, you just hope that that head is protected once that helmet comes off. You don't want to have any more contact. He appears to be okay as he's on his feet.
He's not missed a game since he joined this team.
Oh, he's been a very tough and very durable and productive player. Just signed a new contract before the start of the season. Cincinnati Bengals off to a good start in the first half. As you can see, they had to punt it twice. They did have the turnover, did the Indianapolis Colts, but they also had that touchdown on the run from Donald Brown.
So Hall is out. Morgan Trent has taken his place. He was usually the 5th defensive back out there for the defense, led by Mike Zimmer. This is the #1 defense in the NFL, as we mentioned earlier. Cincinnati, 2nd down and 5. Carter hit by Sims and then smothered on the play by Dan Scuda, taking the place of the injured Malaluga.
Well, here's the action from the first half. Dallas Clark, who struggled last week, began this game by struggling with a fumble, and then the touchdown pass from Dalton to A.J. Green got the Bengals on the scoreboard 7-0. Donald Brown would tie it up with a nice little run for a touchdown, 7 apiece. So both teams have sparred a little bit. Bengals have gotten the field goal to take a 10-7 lead.
Leon Hall is back out there, one of 5 defensive backs for the Bengals. 3rd down and 4. Donald Brown in the backfield. Dropped. Austin Collie, I don't know what kind of hand. Maybe Nate Clemens snuck in there, but he was involved in the coverage. A quick 3 and out to begin the second half for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, and the struggles continue for the Indianapolis Colts on 3rd down. The pass from Curtis Painter, he usually puts the ball right on his receiver, and it was on Austin Collie. It looks like Clemens was able to sneak a hand in there to disrupt Collie from making the catch.
Here's former punt, pass, and kick champion Pat McAfee. On deep back is Tate with the wind at his back. Hang time of 4-2. Here comes Tate. Oh, what a block! Tate corkscrews up Cedric Pierman. Just knocked linebacker, Colt linebacker A.J. Eads into next week. Oh, what a drill. Woo! 31-yard return. Here comes Cincy. Well, we just had 3 plays punt on the first second half possession by the Indianapolis Colts. Nice return by Brandon Tate. It's a first down. It's first down and 10. Cedric Benson. Green trying to throw a block, and out of bounds he goes. Angrer ushers him out of play across the way on a gain of 5 to the 47-yard line. Moments ago, a big-time block. Pierman, who got Eads. Oh, wow. That was a 31-yard return.
That's a body snatcher. That was something else. A decleater is what we call those.
Wow. Freeney and Mathis are not in now. 2nd down and 5. Little pump. He wants to go deep, and he's looking for his receiver, Simpson. Hurdling photographers and flying to the 15-yard line. Working on Lacey, and quarterbacks have been targeting Lacey. A 32-yard hit.
They've also been targeting the defense. Whenever Freeney and Mathis are out, they feel they can protect it long enough to go down the field to Simpson. So it all starts with the protection, and then they're working on Lacey. And when Freeney and Mathis come out in their rotation, because they can't play every single down, offenses are starting to notice, and that's when they feel they can go down the field because they feel the pass protection will hold up.
Chris Presley is in that offset eye. Benson slips by Lacey. and forced out of play across the way by Connor. It is a catch and run of 5 yards on the play, and now Dalton Solomon has hit 10 consecutive passes.
Spreading it around, high completion percentage. Taking the back out of the backfield is very easy. But you love the fact that when it's time to dial up a deep throw to Simpson or to A.J. Green, they can still connect on those as well.
West Coast offense installed by Jay Gruden. Bob Brankowski was the longtime offensive coordinator here in Cincinnati. 2nd down and 5. Rowland has come in as an extra blocker. So they got 6 on the line, and Benson is grabbed by Daniel Muir, longtime starter, at least for the last couple of years for the Colts. And he was not re-signed in free agency. St. Louis got him. They waived him. Now he's back with Indianapolis.
Yeah, just signed earlier this week. Look at big Dan Muir. They need his presence because this defense has faced more rushing attempts than any other defense in the National Football League. Come in averaging 35 rush attempts against this defense, where they have a tendency to wear down late in games.
5 defensive backs, 3rd down and 5. Dalton into the corner. Rucker was defending, and Rucker, the rookie, will pick up the flag. They were going for A.J. Green. First penalty. First penalty on the Colts today. Rucker was the one beaten for the game-winning touchdown pass.
Defense, number 31. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Well, he meant 36, the rookie out of Michigan State.
Right up the top, right there. Now take a look at it. He keeps him in front of him. But see, it's just beyond that 5-yard bump rule. That 5-yard bump area, and then he makes contact with the receiver.
Remember, Powers went out last week.
Yeah.
And, Matt Castle of Kansas City picked on him for the go-ahead and eventually the game-winning touchdown pass.
And Dalton's doing the same. You recognize when a rookie cornerback is going up against one of your best wide receivers, have to take advantage of that matchup situation.
1st and goal at the 4. Benson. He was tripped up by Anger. He was then whacked by Caldwell. It is a gain of 3 down to the 1.
Benson knows that he could have probably stepped out of that tackle. Good blocking. Bring the fullback in. But look, 1 contact. Now just keep your balance. Felt like he could have maybe staggered another 2 yards after contact after making that play. But David Caldwell makes the sure tackle, saving the touchdown. Let's see if the Colts defense can hold up, because Marvin Lewis wants to pound the running game. Feels like they should convert and score if they run the ball at this Colts defense.
Presley is in as the fullback. That leads Benson into the end zone on a 1-yard touchdown run.
Well, we knew the Bengals were going to run it. The Colts defense knew they were going to run it. But look at the blocking by the fullback. Excellent by Chris Presley. And then they were able to get to the next level. Angerer can't get to him until he's in the end zone.
Bengals have their biggest lead this afternoon. Here's the extra point try by Nugent. Had a game-winning field goal against Buffalo a couple weeks ago. And they tack on one more. They make it a 17-7 Bengal lead. The big play, a 32-yard completion to Simpson. And then Benson follows his fullback in for 6. Pretty autumn afternoon here in Cincy. The last Bengals win over the Colts, 97. 36-year-old Boomer Esiason came in after Jeff Blake was injured. He threw 2 touchdowns, leading the Bengals to a victory. The loss dropped the Colts to 0-10. By the way, the next year, Peyton Manning was here. Here's some of the droughts that the Bengals have ended this season.
In their last 3 games, they snapped a 10-game losing streak to Buffalo, and last week they snapped a 7-game losing streak on the road playing in Jacksonville, and with a win today, they could snap a 7-game losing streak to the Indianapolis Colts. That's pretty good work for a rookie quarterback, Andy Dalton, to lead his team to those kind of wins. I think it's just incredible.
Joe LaFay. Taylor Mays coming down, bringing him down. Mays is the one they traded to San Francisco to get. Knee injury early on. He's back in playing today for the Bengals. All right, here come the Colts after the kickoff. Moments ago, Cedric Benson, a 1-yard touchdown run for Cincinnati. From the 12, 1st and 10 for Curtis Painter. 3 years out of Purdue. The fake to Carter. Tammy. Tight end picking it up. That's a 1-yard gain. He's out to about the 13-yard line tonight on CBS. He's been covering Afghanistan for a decade. But what Scott Pelley reports on 60 Minutes may change the way you see the war. That's tonight only on CBS. 2nd down and 9. Carter remains. Good block by Dean, but they had Dunlap who came in from the edge and brings him down after a 4-yard gain. And he's up to the 17-yard line.
This is where this Colts offense, they have to be productive. They don't have great field position. You can't afford to go 3 and out and put your defense back on the field after they've struggled on the previous possession. Jim Caldwell knows his offense has to be able to convert these 3rd downs to extend plays to rest their defense that has a tendency to wear down late in ball games simply because their offense can't stay on the field.
3rd and a long 5. Brown is in. 5 in the secondary. And they throw that into the dirt.
They ran out of time, Kevin.
They sure did. They sure did.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And how about this? Curtis Painter was lifting that knee. When he lifts that knee, he's signifying to Jeff Saturday, his center, that he's ready for him to snap. It's a silent count with the noise here in the stadium. So Saturday should have snapped the ball. See, watch that leg. See, he's saying, okay, snap it. But Saturday doesn't snap it immediately. And so they run out of time.
It's 3rd down and 10. Ooh, Painter, flutter ball. Almost picked off. Incomplete. Clemens, there's a flag. There's a flag at the 31.
They're going to say that Austin Collie, that ball would have been intercepted by Clemens. Collie pushed him from behind as the ball was coming down. Well, let's see if they caught it. But it should be offensive pass interference. But I don't blame Collie simply because the ball would have been intercepted by Clemens.
Painter just got crushed.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 17. That penalty's been declined. Result of the play. 4th down.
Austin Collie really just saved the interception. Now look at the pressure in the face right there. Painter, that's why the ball hangs up. And you can see Clemens was trying to go get it. Collie had pushed him down. But watch the pressure in the face of the quarterback. Wow. Carlos Dunlap, he's as good as any young player right now at rushing the quarterback coming off the edge.
McAfee to punt. Brandon Tate is deep back with the wind at his back. And Tate at the 27. Hang time of 4-9. Good dance. And Stevie Brown, the ex-Oakland Raider, brings him down. 62-yard punt, flag across the way. 8-yard return for Tate.
During the kick, holding number 25 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Timeout on the field.
Morgan Trent is 25. Timeout taken. Dalton with a touchdown pass. Benson with a touchdown run. 8:20 in the 3rd. Here come the Cincinnati Bengals. And a little jump there by Freeney. Well, Jim Caldwell has seen enough. Jacob Lacey has been yanked.
False start. Number 86. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Terrence Johnson has taken his place in the secondary. As the penalty marches it back to the 14-yard line for the Bengals. They've been targeting Lacey, as we've talked about, and so he'll take a breather on the sideline.
But something tells me now they're going to target Johnson. And they said they would rotate these guys, but after what you saw from Lacey, he's going to have to stand next to the coaches.
And here is Bernard Scott. He's shifty. That's a gain of 9, dancing his way to about the 23.
Andy Dalton's been busy in this game, just spreading the ball around, finding, as we said earlier, A.J. Green for a touchdown, getting it over, of course, to Jerome Simpson, Andre Caldwell on that play, and then Simpson down the field. And Dalton was a second-round pick. There's only one other time the Bengals used a second-round pick on a quarterback. It was in 1984. That player out of Maryland, Norman Boomer Esiason. That's a pretty good second-round pick.
Former NFL MVP. Second down and 6. Green. What a throw by Dalton. The catch and run to the 45. A 22-yard pickup. Working on Caldwell.
This is just a really good. There you see. Little play action there. Everyone bites on it, so they reverse bootleg it to the other side. And they're able to find holes now in the Colts secondary. We said the offense needed to protect this defense. As you can see, Caldwell is injured on the play. And the 3 and out puts this defense back on the field. You can see Mathis over there resting in their defensive line rotation.
LaFage takes the place of Caldwell. Bernard Scott slithering out of Abilene Christian. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and they'll mark him at the 49-yard line of Indianapolis.
Oh, look at this distribution. 7 different players have caught a ball now from Andy Dalton, so they're passing the ball around. Simpson, Green, Gresham, Caldwell, even Andrew Hawk is getting in on the mix and dumping it off to Benson, and then the other tight end, Donald Lee. You can't key in on one guy, and that's what it does. It keeps the defense off balance.
Second down and 4. Blocked by Whitworth. On the corner is Scott. And I don't think he's going to get anything angrier among the many over there to make the stop along with Connor. Dalton had hit his last 11 consecutive passes, so he's got a nice rhythm to his passing game now.
He's got a rhythm. This offense has a rhythm, and the head coach, Marvin Lewis, he decides with this running back rotation, as we said earlier, said Benson, the ground and pound, and then they try to get a little bit more speed on the perimeter with Bernard Scott. Now they bring in Brian Leonard. He's their 3rd down back, their best pass protector and catcher of the ball out of the backfield.
It was 3rd down and 4. Freeney saying there was some movement, and I think he was right on Cincinnati.
Ball start, number 77. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
You know, as Whitworth will pick up that, you know what's interesting about Dalton is what his head coach says about him. We all know the head coach-quarterback relationship is the most important. He says he never flutters. I mean, he's a very even-keeled guy.
Look at that on 3rd down, 5 for 5. That shows you that he's capable of making big plays on critical downs and critical moments in the game. Now facing 3rd and long, let's see how he fares.
In the nickel, Leonard. Block ahead by Whitworth. He's got the first down. Tackled by Anger and LaFage. The catch and run of 13 on 3rd and 9 to the 41.
Well, you talk about a committee of running backs. They have one here in Cincinnati because Leonard is excellent at plays like this, draws and screens as a check down back coming out of the backfield. And look, he smells the first down marker. He knew he had to put his head down and barrel forward. Getting a congratulations by Cedric Benson. Now it looks like Scott is back in the ball game.
We have a 1st and 10. And Bernard Scott will get it. So he's shifty into the secondary. Gerard Powers finally lassos him at the 33 on a gain of 8.
And right now what we're seeing are chinks in the armor of the Indianapolis Colts. Playing with a Peyton Manning, a quarterback who can protect a lighter defense. You see Jim Caldwell even concerned because he knows this defense has been playing close to 70 snaps a game so far this year. And as of late, they haven't been able to get off the field. Right now, the Bengals have run it 20 times. And once you get to 25 or 30, this defense tends to wear down.
It's 2nd down and 2. Scott. He's got the first down. He was hit by Powers among a couple. Picks up 5. And they'll go to the 28-yard line of the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, Scott catches this one coming out of the backfield. We talked about pass distribution. Now he gets in on the act. Now make a move. One juke, now go. You don't get to sit there and dance until they come get you. I'm sure that's going to be the coaching point on Monday when Jay Gruden is in the meeting. He's going to say, hey, you get one move, now get going vertically to get down the field.
Bernard Scott had that go-ahead touchdown run last week in Jacksonville.
He gives him a little bit more quickness out on the perimeter.
But on 1st and 10, devoured that time by Cavell Connor. Couple years out of Clemson. It's a gain of a yard. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
One word, Kevin. Cam Newton right here drops back, nowhere to go. This is what makes him great. Look at, he goes outside, breaking tackles, goes in for a 14-yard touchdown. He has 49 rushing yards on the day. Carolina is up 17-14.
6 rushing touchdowns of the season, tying him for the league with 4 other running backs. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
He's amazing.
High praise from Dan Marino. I think I heard great in there with Cam Newton. I like it, Dan.
Benson is in on 2nd down and 11. They were going to go outside. They were looking for A.J. Green. Coverage out there by Rucker.
Oh, the Cincinnati Bengals, and we talk about winning time of possession. They're keeping this defense on the field. The Colts ranked dead last in time of possession. You can see Andy Dalton say we had an opportunity. And I think he holds himself at a very high level. You can see time of possession right now. Bengals are dominant, and if they can get a score here, well, you just get the sense the game will slip away from the Colts.
3rd down and 11. Leonard was in. Good tackle by Sims. The ex-Lion, ex-Eagle. It was caught that time by Andre Caldwell to the 25, 7 yards shy of the first. So it's 4th down. And they're going to try for 3.
This is what makes Dalton good. He understands the situation. We got to get points out of this possession. So you go ahead and take what the defense is going to give you and get the ball closer to set up your field goal kicker, and hopefully Nugent can knock it through.
Well, he is 11 of 11, make it 12 of 12 this season. This is a 43-yard drop into the wind. Why? Oh, he got it. He hooked in. Hooked in with the upright there, giving us a great indication by just inches. 20-7 the Bengals. Get the edge you need to win in your fantasy league. Interactive tools, award-winning player rankings, and expert chats throughout the week. All at cbssports.com/fantasy news. 3 consecutive scores. A couple field goals and a touchdown, 1-yard touchdown run by Benson for the Bengals. Colts, on the other hand, 3 consecutive 3-and-outs.
Only 10 total yards here in the second half. Talk about 2 3-and-outs here in the second half, where they've been very anemic in ball games, particularly in the second half. So they've got to get it going right now. The Bengals are ready to start pulling away. They've outscored their opponents in the second half, 85-40. So this is where the Bengals usually get it going when the Colts have fallen off.
We've now done the Colts, Solomon, 2 consecutive weeks. They had 2 17-point leads last week at home, losing to Kansas City by 4. They're down today. They're winless, one of 3 winless teams in the NFL. What do you sense on the morale of this ball club?
Oh, they're very strong. And they still, I think Jim Caldwell has this team being very positive. They know they're a good football team, but they got to start winning some games and playing better late in ball games.
With Brown in, good-looking catch by Reggie Wayne. Tackled by Chris Crocker. The catch and run to the 42. A 22-yard pickup. First down for Indianapolis.
Oh, this is an excellent play. Over to the right of your screen. Watch Reggie Wayne haul this one in. Tight coverage right there, working against Leon Hall and still creating yards after the catch. Hopefully it could jumpstart this Colts offense.
1st and 10. Brown is in, offering a block. And low and incomplete to Colley. Coverage by Crocker. 2nd down and 10.
Colley signaling over to the coaches. He thinks he caught it, but you know, this is one that, let's see, this is one of those rare throws from Painter that doesn't quite get there. Can't see it, lost it in the shadows. But Painter had to move his feet. He was under duress. And that's one of the rare times you see him missing an open receiver, and now they're going to challenge it. You know, Colley was trying to get Caldwell to throw the red flag in. He believes he caught it. We couldn't see right there because it was in the shadows, a little shaded from plain view.
So they'll have to have evidence on the review that it was a catch because it has been ruled an incompletion. 1:48 to play in the 3rd. Coach Jim Caldwell, the Indianapolis Colts, has challenged a incomplete pass ruling on the field for a pass intended to his wide receiver, Austin Colley. which he was positive that he caught, and it was challenged by Caldwell.
And the officials were positive that they didn't catch it. Now, in the shadows, don't know that you can see it. Morgan Trent's kind of standing there, number 25, blocking our view. I don't know that you can see it there, but look at the official. He's right on top of it. So you kind of have to go with whatever he calls unless you have some very clear evidence that he did catch it. I'm not sure anything that we just saw, any of those shots, cleared it up any more than what we thought initially.
At this time a season ago, Collie had 37 receptions from Peyton Manning, and this year he's only got 12. It's been an adjustment for all these receivers for the Colts, hasn't it?
No, they all have talked about the fact that they expected their numbers to go down. Dallas Clark says, hey, all 100 receptions and going to Pro Bowls, that's out the window. Reggie Wayne, who had 7 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards receiving, he knows that hangs in the balance, that it may not happen with Curtis Painter as their quarterback. With Peyton Manning's there, that's a whole other thing.
As called, as an incomplete pass. Indianapolis is charged with their first team timeout.
There just was not enough evidence to overturn the ruling on the field.
I think Jim Caldwell did the right thing, though, to want to take a look at it. Because we were in the shadows, it's that only part of the field that on that sideline is completely in the shadows. Just couldn't get a good look at it.
Second down and 10 with Brown at the side of quarterback Curtis Painter. Chased by Frenene. Nice catch by Waynes. Got the first down to the 45. 13-yard completion to New York and James Brown.
Which New York Giants team will show up today, Dan?
And the one that's running the football. And here's Ahmad Bradshaw up and over the top. Touchdown for the Giants. That's Ahmad's 3rd touchdown of the game. 24-17 Giants.
Career high for him. Back to Kevin and Solly.
It's a first down run for Donald Brown. Chugging his way down to the 38-yard line. A nice burst right there of 7 yards. Jacobs was not playing today for the Giants, so Ahmad Bradshaw getting some extra time. Second down and 3. Painter, and nice catch by Collie. Working on Clemens, the former Pro Bowler, at the 27-yard line. Another first down, pickup of 11.
Yeah, we said that this Colts offense had to get moving. They had to have some production here in the second half, and now Curtis Painter has the offense on the move. How about the quick count in no huddle to try to catch this Bengals defense off balance?
Garcon's got 5 catches today. First and 10, inside for Garcon. Coverage by Clemens. That time he got in front of the pass. Second down and 10.
Able to come right over the back of Pierre Garcon without interrupting or interfering with the receiver. So it's just real good heads-up play. You know, Nate Clemens, a veteran player, understands angles and how to knife in to be able to make a play on the ball. 11 years out of Ohio State.
And replacing the mainstay in the secondary, Jonathan Joseph, who left as a free agent. Second down and 10. Wrapped up and taken down. Michael Johnson. First sack of Painter today. First sack of the game. Back to the 36-yard line. Loss of 9.
Wow, there you see, here's the pressure on the quarterback. They're finally starting to get there. We talk about this rotation. Michael Johnson coming off the right end. They keep them fresh. They're already young. And so late in ball games, they can go get the quarterback at critical moments here on 3rd and long.
They need the 17. Brown with a good catch, but not enough. Brought down by Brandon Johnson. It's a gain of 8. Probably got into field goal range right there to the 28-yard line. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The Bengals shift into gear now, extend their lead 20-7 over Indy. 4th down, and they're going to try for a 46-yard field goal as we start this 4th quarter. This will be into the wind. A 46-yard try by Adam Vinatieri, who is 8 of 10 this season. Snow the snap, McAfee the hole. Attack on 3 more. He got it. A beauty of 46 yards by Vinatieri. Chipping away at the Bengal lead. Now a 10-point game. Bengals have the #1 defense in the NFL, led by defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. They just hold the Colts to a 3-point try. He's done a terrific job.
Well, he's done a really good job, and this is the 4th year that he's been the defensive coordinator here. These players are familiar with his scheme, and you see him over there talking to their veteran defensive backs. He knows the Colts are going to take some shots in this 4th quarter. They're going to need to be ready.
McAfee will kick into the wind. Tate is back and looks to bring it out for Cincinnati. Terrence Johnson got him up high, brings him down at the 25, a 31-yard return. We talk a lot about record-breaking performances. Well, here's one for you. For the first time in television history, one network has 20 of the top 30 shows so far this season. Only CBS.
And Kevin, every week in the National Football League, the test is the same. And now the test for the Indianapolis Colts defense, can they get off the field? They're going to have to stop Cedric Benson, who has 152 rush yards in the 4th quarter of games this year, the most of any running back in the final quarter in the NFL.
It is a 1st and 10 for Andy Dalton. Here comes Freeney. Right through the hands of Jerome Simpson, who has had a terrific day. Over 100 receiving yards for Simpson already. Let that one slip through.
And look at the footwork from Dalton. He's able to elude pressures. Freeney coming down inside. Okay, now just an easy throw. It was hot. It was thrown very hard, but Simpson's got to hold on to that one. He may even be able to turn and run and gain a few yards after making that catch.
We've not seen hide nor hair of Lacey since he was yanked, and they continue to take his place with Terrence Johnson in the secondary for the Colts. 2nd down and 10. Benson. Oh, he got a nice ceiling block, and then Simpson tries to give him one, but then the great pursuit on the play of Gerard Powers brings him down after a gain of 7.
Well, this is where the Bengals have been very good, where they've scored 2nd most 4th quarter points of any team in the National Football League so far. 53 points scored in the 4th quarter of their first 5 ball games. You just saw the run by Cedric Benson. We told you he was the best in terms of his ability to turn out the yards in the 4th quarter. And critical 3rd down possession right here for the Bengals.
3rd and 3. 5th defensive back is in there. Another drop, this time by the rookie, A.J. Green. They got a punt, 3 and out.
Well played by the Indianapolis Colts defense. They forced him to throw it. And I thought Dalton got this one in there. Look, it's right on the hands of A.J. Green, but I think the ball is interfered just a little bit. Ryan hit him on the hand. Maybe he should have hauled it in. And it appeared as though the Colts defenders were waiting for him to catch it, as they were all looking back at the quarterback.
Powers and LaFay were right there with some nice coverage for Indy, forcing the 3 and out after 3 consecutive scores by Cincinnati. Blair White is deep back, getting the Huber punt. Yeah, nice special teams right there by Andrew Hawkins. He's only 5'7". Played that one well. Here comes Painter down by 10. Beautiful day in Cincinnati. Upper 60s, but there is a breeze. Down by 10. Here comes Curtis Painter. 2 timeouts. A lot of time left. From his own 26, 1st and 10. Carter at his side. 5 defensive backs. Garcon. Oh, look at him weave his way, and Scuda from behind knocks him down. Catch and run at 12. Mark him at the 38 for a 1st down.
This is the signature play for Pierre Garcon, taking that bubble screen and making something happen with it. Now you see why. So elusive is he to tackle in the open field.
Carter. They'll try to carve out a yard or 2. Look like Gathers at the bottom of that pile on a gain of 2 to the 40.
And now the Colts are showing some sign. They understand that this is a crucial possession after the defense got the stop, and you could see 2nd half passing last week, only 3 passes completed for 40 yards, and already today in the second half, Curtis Painter playing so much better, and he's going to have to continue here in the fourth quarter.
It's 2nd down and 8. Nice catch by Dallas Clark. He got the matchup he wanted with a linebacker, Brandon Johnson, with the coverage. 17-yard, well-thrown pass by Painter.
Yeah, very well thrown. Starts with the protection, but watch him step up into this one and look at the accuracy. Even with tight coverage with Johnson right and Dallas Clark's hip pocket, he makes the complete.
Good catch for Dallas. 1st and 10 from the 43.
Look at Painter in control.
That is Reggie Wayne. Tackled by Johnson. Close to a 1st down. Near the 33-yard line. About a 10-yard catch and run right there.
Reggie Wayne's 5th reception on the day. He says enough of getting the ball to Pierre Garçon. I can still run with it as well. Reggie Wayne in his 11th year, the veteran wide receiver, getting some yards after the catch.
He'll pick up 9, so it'll be 2nd down and 1. Painter, who followed Breeze at Purdue and Manning at Indianapolis. Big shoes. He's got, dropped. Knocked away by Johnson, who they've been picking on, and that was intended for the rookie running back, DeLon Carter. Coming up on the Subway postgame show from New York, James Brown, Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason, and Coach Bill Cowher will give you scores, highlights, and news. All coming up next on the Subway postgame show from New York on a 3rd and 1. Painter takes it himself. Let's see if I think he got it to the 32. As they continue to shuffle in bodies, in comes Brown, out goes the running back Carter.
And still with a no huddle, so right now they're giving Painter look at something different this week in the second half that they didn't do last week, changing the tempo up on the Bengals defense.
Still going against 5 defensive backs. 1st and 10. Painter, Clark to the 27, hit by Scuda, and a quick gain of 5.
Well, they're just taking these easy throws. And remember, Scuda is normally in their base package where they're bringing Johnson and Thomas Howard in the sub package when they bring in the extra defensive back.
2nd down and 5. Dean with a good block, going to the end zone for Garçon. Flag is thrown. 1st and goal for Indianapolis. Coverage deep back there by Crocker and by Trent. They were both on Garçon.
Defense, number 25. Contact without playing the ball. Automatic 1st down.
Now watch Trent. See, he's in man-to-man coverage. He turns his back to the quarterback. Now, does he ever look back for the ball? But yet he does make contact. He throws his hands up, and all they want you to do in that situation is find the football and start to play the ball, and don't make contact with the wide receiver.
In essence, a 26-yard penalty. 1st and goal. Painter will take it himself. Waiting for the signal. And he did not get in. They bunch up the middle. Scuda along with Frosty Rucker. 2nd down and goal.
Take a look at the surge by this Colts offensive line. Right now, the Colts feeling the momentum in this game against this top-ranked Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Another one. Quarterback keeper. Again, he is stacked up and pushed backwards.
This Bengals defensive line, you heard us talk about them earlier. They have a strong rotation. They're talented. They're fighters. Mike Zimmer.
Like Mike Zimmer, you're right.
They're playing the way he wants them to play. Whether it's Geno Atkins, Domata Peko, Jonathan Fanene, Pat Sims. Boy, are they good. Very deep, young, and talented.
Well, they're going to need 3 somewhere along the way, but they'd rather have 6. Gronkowski is in with Carter, 3rd and goal at the 1. The fake, wide open, Cole, what a catch! Dallas Clark, touchdown! What a grab for a guy that's been dropping the ball. Extra catches this week in practice. A beauty for 6.
What a play call. The Bengals were sold out thinking the Colts were going to run the ball. It's play action fake to Dallas Clark to the back of the end zone. Painter didn't have the best throw, but it was a great catch from Dallas Clark, making up after dropping the ball 3 times in the second half last week. Wonderful timing on the play call by Clyde Christensen, the offensive coordinator for the Colts.
How big was that 26-yard pass interference penalty against Trent with the extra point? We have got a 3-point game. Flag is down at the 2. Boy, you feel good for Dallas Clark, who's been struggling. Missed a lot of last year with the wrist surgery. Peyton Manning with the kind word. Good call.
Offside. Defense, number 94. Point after is good. 5-yard penalty will be assessed on the ensuing kickoff.
Good call by Clyde Christensen, and they find Dallas Clark. Boy, some big plays on that drive. Garcon had a catch and run from 12, but it's capped off with that acrobatic catch by Clark. Colts are going to kick off after a 1-yard touchdown pass to Dallas Clark, who on that drive also caught a 17-yarder and a 5-yarder. And then the beautiful one-handed grab in the back of the end zone. New game, 3-point contest. Little under 10 to play, and the ensuing kickoff will drive Tate out of the end zone. McAfee kicks it long. So on that drive, Painter, he finds Dallas for 17, the 26-yard pass interference call, and then Clark leaping high and bringing it down.
Oh, Dallas Clark has redeemed himself after struggles last week against Kansas City. He dropped 4 balls in that game and could have finished off some drives had he made catches over the middle of the field. He comes back today, even after a first quarter fumble, with a nice touchdown grab, and played 9 years in the National Football League. You're going to have slumps, but he's come out of it big time.
Touchback on the kickoff by McAfee. Here's a handoff on 1st down and 10. A flag. In fact, 2 are down as Benson tried to carve something on the right side. Terrence Johnson still taking the place of Lacey.
Number 86. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
And 86 is Donald Lee.
Well, you talked about coming out of a slump, and this, we talked to him yesterday. He says, I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to change anything. He did work extra after practice, doing what all great professionals do, and Dallas Clark is a consummate pro. Worked on catching balls after practice to make sure that he put those drops behind him, and boy, did he do it.
With the penalty, 1st and 20. Right up the gut. Connor makes the stop. It goes to Andre Caldwell on a gain of 7 to the 17.
We talk about that drive by Curtis Painter, the touchdown by Dallas Clark, puts the pressure right back on Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals. And if you're the Bengals with 8:50 to go in this ball game, you want to stick the ball in the belly of Cedric Benson and try to churn out those 4th quarter rushing yards against a lighter defensive front for the Indianapolis Colts.
It's 2nd down and 13. Over the near side, you can see Green into Rucker, gain of 4. Clock is stopped. Mark him at the 21.
Yeah, now is Dwight Freeney and Dwight, of course, Robert Mathis. It's just where they get after the quarterback. You get to 3rd and long, 3rd and 9. You can bet Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney are going to come after the quarterback. They want to pin their ears back and rush the quarterback.
Pretty important play right here. 5 in the secondary. 3rd and 9. Gresham, the tight end, grabbed by the defense of Ernie Sims. There goes a flag. The gain to the 25 and a pickup of 4. Shy of a 1st down by 5. Let's see what this flag is all about.
After the play, personal foul. Late hit. Offense, number 64. Down counts. 4th down. Half the distance to the goal.
64 is their starting center for the last 3 years. Kyle Cook.
Kyle Cook, watch him. He's just trying to come down and throw a block. Number 64, watch him. Look, he's trying to peel off. And he does peel Pat Angerer. But late after the whistle, going to be penalized on the play. So good job by the Indianapolis Colts. They pitch a 3 and out. They get the ball back for their offense, and it's the second time they've pitched the 3 and out for that Bengals offense.
Huber to White. Wind at his back. Fair caught at the 40. 47-yard punt. So good beginning field position for Curtis Painter and the Indianapolis Colts. Thursday on CBS, they know when someone's in trouble. But can they find a kidnapped child in time? Catch the new mystery thriller, Person of Interest. It comes your way Thursday only on CBS. Colts have a couple timeouts. Plenty of time. It's 7.5 to play from their 41st and 10.
And what did Curtis Painter tell us? He said where he has to get better is making checks at the line of scrimmage to get us from a good play into even better play where we can make plays late in the game.
Brown in the backfield. Painter. And a gain of 2 to Pierre Garçon. Mark him at the 42 as we go to New York and JB.
Fitzpatrick to Johnson.
Oh, yeah, and Fitzpatrick's bringing back the Bills. Stevie Johnson, Corlienzo, 9-yard touchdown, 24-24, tie ball game.
Good one there at the Meadowlands. Back to Kevin and Solly.
Well, you're right. That is a beauty. Second down and 8. Painter for Collie, incomplete. Coverage by Crocker. It hit the turf, they say. Incomplete pass.
Colley's having a tough time hauling in the low balls. Probably wanting Painter to get it up just a little bit. A clean pocket. That one does go low, and now we got a quick count.
3rd and 8. Collie again. First down. Working on Scuda to midfield. Smart play by Painter to assemble his team. A pickup of 9. They'll move the chains.
And a quick read of the defense and knowing exactly where he wanted to go with the ball. Didn't need a lot of time to process what he was getting from the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Fake to Brown. Dallas Clark. Reggie Nelson the grab. First down. 16-yard pickup to the 34.
Painter is stroking a Picasso right now against his Bengals defense. He's picking them apart. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. He's got the accuracy and arm strength to drive it home. He's got this offense on the move in the 4th quarter.
1st and 10. Brown hit low right off the bat. And looked like Fanene was the one to get him. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And what happened to that Cincinnati Bengals defensive line? The rotation we talked about. There's Geno Atkins. They're breathing heavy a little bit. They're not getting close to getting pressure on Painter.
And 2nd down and 10. Nice move up, and he can't find Garçon, who was covered by Clemens, and there was all kinds of congestion. We have 3 Bengals down.
Yeah, and look at Painter's movement. The pressure was there that time as everyone coming up the field. They all collide and run into one another. Painter's able to elude the pressure, get rid of the ball, and you can see 3 Cincinnati Bengals defenders were on the ground. Now 2 are still down. Carlos Dunlop and Geno Atkins.
And Fanene was the 3rd, and he is groggy, number 68.
I think they're more tired.
maybe that's it. Well, you know, the NFL came out with the rule. Now, these look like to be legitimate injuries, but the league came out and said that anybody faking injury is going to be heavily fined. But that was, you could see, just the collision itself into your teammate was enough to knock him astray.
You might say the collision was appropriately timed. There you see it. This came just left of your screen, but Fanene was sort of hurt on the play. But they've been facing this no huddle, a little quick count, up-tempo offense brought to you by Curtis Painter. This Bengals defense right now, they're a little winded. 6-play, 26-yard drive, and most of them have been passes. Only 1 run on this drive. You see Curtis Painter, a 3rd down passing today. He's been much better today, Kevin, than he had been in the 2 previous games.
He's been great. 3rd and 10. Into the nickel. Painter has not thrown an interception in 99 attempts this season.
Running out of time.
Painter for Garçon. That whistles over his head. Coverage by Clemens. 4th and 10. We're going to try for 3 in the tie.
And this is where people talk about some of the things that Peyton Manning can do that maybe Curtis Painter can't do. And I think Curtis was trying to get him in the right play. Remember, he has a mental Rolodex of plays that he can check to based on what the defense gives them. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, 13 years in the NFL for Peyton Manning, that Rolodex is a lot bigger.
52-yard try into the wind for Vinatieri to tie. Oh, I think it was tipped. Did Clemens get it? Somebody came in and tipped that ball. It looked like Nate Clemens. Painter and the offense come up empty.
I got one better for you, Kevin. Watch the hold. He doesn't get it down in cleanly. Look at that. He doesn't get it down cleanly. Yes, they did get in. The pressure but look at the hole. Didn't get it down. That forced Vinatieri to double clutch it. And then it was tipped because the kick came off late. The double clutch on the hold forced Vinatieri to delay the kick. Clemens had great pressure coming off that corner, and all things sort of cascaded to create an ineffective kick from Adam Vinatieri.
And allowing just enough time for Clemens to come through. Deflects the kick on the miss. They take over at the 43. First down and 10. Scott in the backfield. Bernard Scott following Presley and picks up about a yard to the 44. Timeouts. 2 for the Colts, 3 for the Bengals.
Yeah, what a shame for the Indianapolis Colts as you see the discussion between McAfee, the holder, and Vinatieri, the kicker, because Jim Caldwell's offense seemingly was seizing the momentum in this game as Curtis Painter and that offense had that no huddle working and had this Bengals defense exhausted.
Matheson for near in, second down and 9. Bernard Scott, Whitworth with the block. A fan there by Cotter on the tackle. Then Wheeler comes in and drills him on a gain of 2 to the 45.
How about that? The Indianapolis Colts, their run defense so good on the early first and second downs. Now they're forcing a 3rd and long for Andy Dalton and the Bengals offense. Can they convert?
The rookie Rucker has come in. 3rd down and 7. To Leonard. He's got the first down. Galloping his way to the 30-yard line. A terrific catch and run of 25 yards. First down, Cincinnati.
3rd and long. You want to rush the quarterback? Well, they have the perfect play on. Look, everyone's getting up the field, and all they do is slip Brian Leonard out of the backfield for a nice little screen play, and his ability to catch those and run and turn them into first downs, I think, are incredible. Cook out in front. Plenty of blockers out in front. They just turn the entire Colts defense loose on Dalton, and they slip right past him for a first down.
That was a career-long play for him, and this is Bernard Scott, who is grabbed by Buffet and knocked backwards after gaining a couple yards. Make it 3 to the 27.
I just got to say this. We said that Cedric Benson was the league's leading rusher in the 4th quarter of ball games. Why would you have the smaller Scott in the game at a moment like this when you're trying to wear down the Indianapolis Colts defense? And I know the head coach is rotating the running backs. I think this is a time where you want the bigger, stronger body of Cedric Benson running the ball to try to wear down this defense and churning out yards in the 4th quarter where you could eat clock.
Timeout taken by Indianapolis. Remember, the Colts lost a timeout as they lost a challenge. But this has got you perplexed, doesn't it, that Benson's not in?
Oh, he came in with 152 yards rushing in the 4th quarter. And you need to be able to run the ball against this defense in the 4th quarter. And Marvin Lewis goes with a quicker back than Bernard Scott. Doesn't break as many tackles as Cedric Benson.
With 2 tight ends, second down and 7. Here's Scott, and there is Antoine Buffet. And no gain on the play, so they stop him right there. Here's another timeout taken.
Final timeout, Indianapolis.
And the Colts are out of timeouts. Colts take it right there. They burn their last. Well, the Colts have had some close calls. They played Pittsburgh in Indy, and they got the game-winning field goal by Sweezum. Then they played down in Tampa, and then LeGarrette Blount. And then last week in Indy against Kansas City, a touchdown pass to Steve Preston. And they lose that. So you can see what these losses have been like in an 0-5 season for Coach Jim Caldwell, with no Peyton Manning and a lot of other injuries too on this team.
A loss by 8 points, then by 3 points, then by 7 and 4 last week to Kansas City.
Leonard is back in third down and 8. Leonard bursts down to the 25. Buffet makes his third consecutive tackle. It's a gain of 3. Yeah, he should be winded. Done a nice job defensively on that series to the 25.
Watch him close on Leonard and making a physical tackle there by Buffet. Much surer tackling this week than last week. He gets Leonard down and does it in a very physical way.
He's led the team in tackles 3 consecutive years. Comes up with a couple, 3, in fact, on that particular series offensively. Now a 43-yard field goal try by Mike Nugent. He's hit from 20. He's hit from 43. With the wind at and he will miss. Wow, he had the wind at his back, and maybe that wind pushed it off, but the Colts are still alive and 2.5 to play. That makes it interesting.
That does make it interesting. You can pray, but still, at some point you have to execute. He pushed this one wide right, just outside of the uprights, giving new life to Curtis Painter in the Indianapolis Colts.
I should say. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 33, and coming up on the Subway postgame show, JB and company with scores, highlights, and news in this Week 6. That's all coming up from our CBS studios in New York, the Subway postgame show.
I have to wonder if the Bengals were outthinking themselves by not having Cedric Benson pounding the rock on that drive, giving the ball back to the Colts. New life.
1st and 10. Pierre Garçon. Oh, and he fumbled the ball. It's picked up on the play with the ball. Dunlap. Look at the big man run. Look at the big man take it for 6.
That's all you can say to this one, because it's shades of Geno Atkins 1 week ago in Jacksonville, scooping one up to slam the door shut to get a come-from-behind win. And now Carlos Dunlap. Flag's going to be down for celebration, but there's the throw, the catch. Tries to flip the ball back. What was he doing with the ball?
I don't know.
But look at Carlos Dunlap. He refuses to be denied. He wants his touchdown this week because it was Geno Atkins who scored for the defensive line last week.
Little Bill celebrating there by the Cincinnati Bengals, and so a penalty flag will cost him on the ensuing kickoff. That was a 36-yard fumble recovery and touchdown by Carlos Dunlap, who led the Bengals last year in sacks, second among rookies, right in back of Ndamukong Suh of Detroit.
They're going to take a look at it, Kevin, but I think it's going to be a touchdown. He looked like that ball was coming out, and obviously you got to look at all scoring plays. But this defensive line has been simply phenomenal, making a number of plays. Let's take a look at it. Throw and catch to Garçon. And let's see if he's down in any way, shape, or form. He's on top of defenders. Ball's out right there. And it pops out.
You think he was lateraling?
No, he was doing something with it. I don't want to say he was lateraling, because that would not be a wise decision to make with the ball. But clearly it looked as if he was extending his arm and was getting rid of the ball. You can see he hasn't made contact with the ground. See, ball out right there. Now was that elbow down?
Or
when
his
the ball
cheek,
came out.
or his backside.
It looked like he was sitting on top of the defender, so that part of his body had not made contact with the ground. Look at right there. What was he doing with it? Ball out. Boy, this defensive line, they've got all the plays. The fumbles, the fumble recoveries, the returns for touchdowns. We told you Atkins did it last week, and they've got the interceptions.
Now, you may be wondering how this is being reviewed with the Colts and no timeouts. And out of it, they have, on all scoring plays this year, the NFL has, of course, instituted it all be reviewed, regardless of the score or timeouts or challenges left. And that is why they are looking at it right now. They buzz the official, who today is John Perry, down on the field.
Yeah.
But I think you bring up, was the elbow down? Was one of his cheeks? It was a cheek equals a knee.
I think it's tough to tell. It looks like the elbow's down, but you can't tell if the ball is secure or if it's out. Now, it was ruled a fumble down on the field. So we did see the elbow down at some point, but is the ball out? Okay, right there. Now, is that ball in or out? We can't tell from that shot.
All those dreadlocks
now,
and Nelson
ball's in. Ball's in. Now you can't tell when that elbow's down. The helmet obstructs the view of the ball. And see, you see the ball's out right there. But how soon did it come out? Did it come out simultaneously as the elbow made contact with the ground? That's really close to call.
After reviewing the play stands as called.
Jim Galwell's in. We can't catch a break. And how about Dunlop? You know, this is a big kid, 6'6", 290, and to be able to run like that after you take possession of the ball, he was not going to be denied from getting into the end zone.
Dunlap, a second-round pick last year out of the University of Florida. Missed the preseason with the knee, didn't play.
Well, we tell you about those draft picks that are now starters and contributors for this football team and for the league's #1 ranked defense. Jim Caldwell was really concerned about the length and the depth and the size of this defensive line for the Bengals coming into today's game.
Nugent, 10-point lead, 2:22 to play. Indy's out of timeouts. Big play again. I can't tell if it was a fumble or if it was a lateral. It was a fumble, yes, but was he trying to throw the ball to?
Well, even if it's a lateral, it's ruled as a fumble.
Exactly.
And look at what the Bengals have done in consecutive weeks, 3 consecutive weeks. They snapped a 10-game losing streak to the red-hot Buffalo Bills, who came into Paul Brown Stadium. Last week, they traveled to Jacksonville, where they had lost 7 in a row. They put an end to that streak, and now today, coming into this game, they had lost 7 straight to Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. Looks like that streak has a chance of falling. Getting it all done with the league's #1 ranked defense, a rookie quarterback, a rookie wide receiver, talent and depth on the defensive line that has this team getting even better.
So the Bengals get 14 points off 2 Colt turnovers. The celebration penalty is a 15-yarder, so it is marked back at the 20, and that's where Nugent will kick off for Cincinnati.
How many people coming into this season, I remember sitting in meetings, people saying how bad they thought the Bengals would be, and I was really perplexed. Now, I had seen them in training camp, very close with the team. I thought these young players would play well, but I was in the minority with that kind of thing.
Well, you know this team pretty well. This is one of the teams you played for, you follow.
Well, I really liked the selection of Andy Dalton. I loved what he did at TCU. And you ask anyone in the state of Wisconsin after what he did to the Badgers in that bowl game, I think they understood that he could play. And you know, he's the reason why TCU may end up moving to one of the bigger and larger conferences. He's won a lot of games during his 4 years there.
Yeah, it was 42-7, and they are moving to a bigger conference, the Big 12. Here comes LaFage. And he is hit awful hard on the play. 15-yard return. Jabril Wilson, along with that guy right there, Cedric Pierman, make the tackle.
Look at Marvin Lewis now with his 64th win. If this score holds up, moves into a tie with Sam White for first place in all-time wins. And And the great Paul Brown at 155, that coached 8 years here, and Marvin Lewis right now is in an unprecedented 9th season as the head coach, the longest tenured head coach in Cincinnati Bengals history.
Out now on the plate for Painter, no timeouts, first down and 10. Looking for Collie, intercepted by Leon Hall, and that is the dagger. Collie brings him down. 19-yard line. His first interception in 115 passes.
In the secondary room, they had been teased by even the special teams coach. That's what Leon Hall told us. He said, we go into the bye week. I've got to get me an interception before heading into the bye. And he breaks on this ball by Painter. As Collie's coming out, Painter never saw Leon Hall, who knifes right in to make the catch, getting the secondary their first interception so far this year. He gets to join the party. What an excellent player. We said he was the most consistent, and he showed you why.
Hall comes up with his first interception, and you can see the first pick by a defensive back this year for this #1 defense. That's the first interception thrown in 101 passes this season for Painter, and going back to last year, an even bigger number. Benson into the secondary. Wheeler brings him down at the 14, gain of 5. Indy is out of timeouts. Hall just picked off Painter. And we are at the 2-minute warning. Bengals hovering over a 4-2 record. That's a look at Mike Zimmer, the coordinator, defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. His defense #1. This is the youngest team the Cincinnati Ball Club is in the AFC, third youngest in the NFL. 2-minute warning, second down and 5. Benson running hard. Look at the nice block ahead there by his fullback, Chris Presley, paving the way for a gain of 8. First and goal, Bengals.
Ed Benson understands his great opportunity to close out this ball game. He's churning out the yards. He's smelling the end zone and understanding you run the ball, you eat clock. That's how you preserve victories. Boy, what a real complimentary football team. You talk about them being one of the youngest teams in the NFL. They have experience on defense, even though a defensive line, I think, has some youth and experience, a great blend there. A veteran offensive line and so many young players at offensive weapons there. And it's just a real good mix on this football team that Marvin Happy is very pleased with how they've responded to coaching.
Classy move. They go to a knee. It'll be second down and goal. What is interesting about Cincinnati, what Marvin Lewis has been dealing with, is trying to get rid of maybe some of the voices in the locker room of the last couple years. A couple of wide receivers that were here. The quarterback didn't want to play here. A couple others have been sent away, did not get re-signed. It's a brand new feeling in the Bengal locker room, and their record reflects it.
And with that, yeah, all that turnover, they're going to finish today 4-2, tied for first place at best in the AFC North. They have a defense that's ranked higher than Pittsburgh and Baltimore, which is saying a lot. And they've now outgained their opponents in 5 of their 6 ball games. So Marvin Lewis doing a heck of a job with these young players.
Nice day for Dalton, 25 of 32 with a touchdown. Painter finishes 23 of 34, 190 yards, a pick and a touchdown. The Bengals offense today, no turnovers and no sacks allowed against Freeney and Mathis.
Oh, that's really doing. I think their ability to run the football today, I think that's been the key. They ran it 31 times for 93 rushing yards, and I think that's been key at keeping their young quarterback clean. Came up with a timely turnover. Pierre Garçon puts it on the ground, and Jim Caldwell teams now falls to 0-6 on the year.
Bengals get 14 points off 2 Indianapolis turnovers. And the Colts lose one. The Bengals to 4-2. For Solomon Wilcott, Kevin Harlan saying thank you for watching today as we take you to our studios and James Brown.